to the panel discussion. So we have enough participants to begin with. And yeah, so my name is Mauchandra Pal, and today I will be moderating alongside Nitya. So this is the fifth webinar under the webinar series of Bhumi's Plastic Free July. It is organized in collaboration with Youth Alliance. So Plastic Free July is a global movement to tackle plastic pollution in our own capacity as an individual, family, community, or organization. And Bhumi has proudly become the part of it and organized many webinars under it on topics like plastic-free home, plastic-free travel and celebrations, plastic-free institutions, and plastic in our food. So I would introduce a little bit about Bhumi. So Bhumi is the largest, India's largest youth-run non-profit organization. We are a network of more than 20,000 volunteers all over India. And yeah, so in today's session, we'll be discussing what are the opportunities and challenges are there in plastic upcycling. So to enlighten us, we have very knowledgeable and enthusiastic plastic upcyclers who will help us understand the nuisance of plastic upcycling, their journey, challenges, and the various opportunities this provides. I welcome Nikhil sir, Rita ma'am, and Rajesh sir. It's a pleasure having you all with us, and I'm sure our audience will be inspired from you and take the plunge. Before we give you guys the stage, I would give a short introduction. So Rita ma'am calls herself as an environmentalist. She upcycles whatever plastic bags that walks into a home by crocheting or knitting and making them into beautiful products. Rajesh sir has recognized the need of the green area, and that is very much diminished in Bangalore, and started a practice that solely rest on promoting sustainability, welfare, wellness, and technology. He upcycled any and every junk available and turns them into valuable and functional products for any space. Nikhil sir is a social entrepreneur who co-founded Greenwave, a startup focusing on innovative green technologies which saves the environment by effective recycling and reducing of waste simultaneously employing women. He was recognized as one of the everyday heroes by Aditya Birla Capital Group and was recognized as one of the most promising innovators and entrepreneurs of India by i3 and many other platforms. So our panel discussion will be taken over by Nitya. So Nitya, are you here?
Yeah, hi everybody. Hello Rita ma'am, hello Nikhil sir, hello Rajesh sir. So as my friend gave a very good introduction to all you guys, so I'll give everybody 5 minutes of your time to introduce yourselves, introduce what your company does, what you do to the rest of our attendees, so that they get an insight on what you guys are actually doing, how you are doing your bit, and how can they actually learn from you people, inspire from you people, and do their bit. So Rita ma'am, let's start from you.
Okay. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I'm Rita, and I have been a teacher by profession. English and social studies being my core subjects. I gave up teaching in 2005 to join my husband in his office. But I found it very boring and dry, to be very honest. I gave up and then I did MBA with the intention of becoming a trainer because that is closer to teaching. Teaching always remained my passion. But then that also didn't materialize, and thus till 2015, I tried my hand at various things, but nothing could really give me the satisfaction. And in 2015, my condition was like that of Veena Kumari in Sahib Bibi Ghulam, what to do, how she was looking for ways and means to win over her husband, and I was finding ways and means to do something for environment, because I wanted to do something for environment, but I just didn't know how to do it. I wanted to do it from home. My daughter said, "Mummy, You set up an NGO. I said, no, I want to do it from home. Only that was my condition. And then in 2016, I saw the video on Facebook of women making plastic mats from Walmart shopping bags. And that clicked. That moment became the turning point. I said, yes, this is it. I knew crocheting, I knew stitching, it required, knitting, it required no finances, nothing, and this was something I could do from home, and I got started instantly. There have been no looking back. In fact, they say, "Bekar aadmi kya kare, kapda phad ke sila kare." There's a saying. I was absolutely bekar all the time on my hands, and I started doing that with plastic bags. Plastic bags, I started cutting plastic bags, kaatti gayi, and products banati gayi. You can see the bag. This is one Amul, Gokul milk packets.
Very nice.
Bags from carry bags. Then I made plastic kaatti gayi. It was all from plastic. Mat made from bread wraps. Okay, then here's another one. I made basket, small basket. You can multi-purpose. You can do anything with it. This is made from the metallic sheet that covers a mattress. When you get bed mattresses, it was covering, so I cut that. All the hard plastic.
Beautiful.
A bin. You can use it anyhow. Then I made purses. This is made from Farm Fresh carry bag. This is made from bread wraps. So there's no end to it. I just went on cutting. This is in the work in progress from Mother's Choice plastic bags. Can you all see? You can all see now?
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. Very nice.
So
Very
this is
nice.
it.
Beautiful.
So this is how it started. And जो plastic घर आए, कुछ बनकर बाहर जाए became my mantra. In fact, I had started borrowing, and so much plastic was eaten up by these products, consumed by these products, that I call them plastic guzzlers. A lot of plastic goes into making these products. Now you can see here, bread wraps, different textures. It took me time. I knew crocheting, but when I started doing with plastic, I realized plastic was a different game altogether. And because each plastic bag is of a different texture. Some are very soft, some are hard, some are medium. Milk packets are different from any other carry bag. So it took me some time to get the hang of it, but yes, I managed. And today, I am doing it. It's my 2016 I started, and I'm still continuing. So here it is.
Wonderful.
You can say once a teacher, always a teacher. I was teaching social studies, and now I'm teaching environmental science from my home.
That was such an inspiring thing you just showed. I mean, it's really great. You know, nobody would have even understood or thought of plastic in such a way that you can make bags out of it. Plastic is generally what you just drink from it, or you unpack it and then it goes to the waste basket, or else it's just reused into carrying something else. But at the end, it just finds itself in the waste basket. So what you just showed us is just, it's a different ball game altogether. You know, completely new thing.
There's another thing, you know, I prefer to use the smallest plastic bags, you know, because they are the ones that cause all the trouble. They are the ones that get choked in the drains.
True.
Lighter ones. Where is it? I'll show you. Now see here, what I do. Look at this. All these bread wraps are cut and kept. So I am going to do it. Now I'll wait, I'll collect, then I'll start working.
Great. Nikhil sir, how about you? What is your story? What would you like to show us?
Yeah, so I mean, it all started while I was doing my bachelor's in NIT Durgapur, wherein we were working on doing some research and all, but nothing seemed to be really working out, or that satisfaction of working or your technology going out and serving the purpose of people is not yet realized. So then we started approaching in a more people-centric approach, trying to understand what exactly the people require, and then started making such kind of technologies, and so that it is easily adaptable and more available to everyone, and also addressing the core issues of the cultural and other stigmas which are prevalent in Indian context as such. If you go to the next slide. So, but while I was doing my bachelor's, nothing seemed to really work out. But then while I was doing my master's, I was in a very remotest area of India. Like literally it was off grid from all the available facilities or anything. And I had to stay in one temple because that's the only place where electricity light was there. Then I got affected with malaria, and I started to study what, because in spite of staying hygienic, practicing all the hygiene practices and washing my hands, cleaning everything and all, why did I encounter with malaria? So that's how the entire green wave, genesis of green wave has started. That's why I say it as a venture born out of mosquito bite. And ever since then, we had been working on a lot of small innovative technologies, both for reducing, reusing, recycling, and upcycling of any sort of waste that is available in India. Next slide. This is our vision. Like currently we found recycled and upcycled resource is only about 11% in India or in world as well. That we want to make it like reverse the scenario by doing some revolutionizing of small technologies which can be accepted by anyone, like right from a small student till like if you go to big industries or any other things. The why I wrote resources, it's something untapped. It's not like a waste. It's something resource which can be reused and again repurposed into something new. Next. This is how it began. Like it was an idea or intention of using technology for social good. And then we started off with handling one small waste called flower waste. Then we started working on organic waste and behavior change, because behavior change was the most important component that has to be tackled. Like it was during this working with the flower waste, producing incense sticks also. Literally no one were willing to buy. Neither temples were willing to donate the waste or flower resource. So we came up with this idea of doing a small campaign called so if you see all the religions in India or across the world, they believe in something like reincarnation of things. So we repurposed our entire product and service to reincarnation of things. That's how the behavior change and other things have been working out. Then currently, if you see, we are also working in handling other non-organic waste also, which includes plastic, upcycling and recycling. And we are working on alternatives to plastic in terms of coming up with biopolymers, which would degrade within 180 days of time. And it is harmless to the environment. Even if cattle or any like animals eat it, actually broken down into peptides and literally harmless to any biodiversity as such. Later, we would like to go into a holistic approach of integrated waste management across like starting from household till a fairly larger cities, and how to do the planning and service. That's what we are looking at in the future. these are few of the products made out of the biodegradable plastic. If you see, there are plates, cups, these are the pellets which can be used to produce the polythene bags, or it can be used for this beauty products. It can be used in the packaging industry, because beauty products also has this micro beads and all, which are very harmful. And using 3D printing, we are producing any thing, like you can produce clocks, you can produce everything out of this biodegradable plastic. And once you want to discard it, you can put it down into the soil and it degrades into peptides. This is our team. We had been working ever since like 6 years now, and we had been exploring multiple kind of things and trying to basically connect the dots and going further. That's how putting down all stakeholders into the coherence view, and going further, everyone will be involved, right from people, right from politicians, bureaucrats, people who are going to buy the product, like all stakeholders as much as possible, and environment being the most biggest stakeholder that we would like to look at. These are a few of our, I mean, I wouldn't say laurels or anything. It's more like giving a sense of validation to our work that we had been doing, and it shows that, okay, we are following a right path in our journey, and sort of inspiration to our further journey as such. Yeah. So yeah, we would say each and every one had to play a small role and recognize this as a larger dream. And when everyone takes responsibility both for their actions and inactions, only then something of this sort, huge revolution, will be happening. That's how we view the things as. Yeah, this is our sort of presentation. I thought showing some visuals would be providing more details of what kind of journey we had been doing, and way further what we would like to do. Thank you.
Yeah, that was a very inspiring one, because especially the way, how you actually understood the problem with the flowers, and how they were, being just put away. And people actually get flowers as something that they have really thought about, because they want something, and that's how they offer the flowers, and then it just goes to waste. I mean, that's like, it's like they're, whatever they're thinking is just going to waste. So the thing of you recognizing that and converting it in a way that they can offer the same thing again. So that was a really good thing. And the way you have shifted your focus not only on that, but also into forming different alternatives to plastic, using making biodegradable plastics. That's something that people have to look for, because that is the future. That's what we are trying to do. So that was a very nice presentation we just got. So Rajesh sir, how are you? How about it?
Yeah. Nitya, you can present the thing in the screen.
Yes.
Nikhil, it was great looking at the product, what you guys have developed it as, like, it is, after seeing the final product, which is from the biodegradable waste and things, it was really inspiring to see that. And especially when I had a look on the product from Rita ma'am also, it was like, wow, it was like completely was inspiring going forward. Like, but yeah, what it shows me, like, a idea is what is going to make a difference everywhere. So we just need to put our thought, or our mind, or our creative soul, which is within us, to every product, to relook, or in such a way that it's going to make a really a change in the current society. So, well, the story so far is, it's been 14 years now, running a very successful company called Rubanius, which is a parent company. And In this whole journey, we're working with all the big giants from the bigger corporates, from PVR, IBM, all the MNCs clients. I will just tell you how the 10 by 10 come up to the life, where being a very commercial designer and architecture field where we are practicing from past 14 years. We did, it was something like we were a very free soul to do whatever the kind of a design we would like to do it. And because the design and the creative is what is our background, and for our team, we always see design as a solution for any problem. So when I said that, then we are just not looking design just to make it beautiful. We were always, brainstorming, and we were collaboratively working with a lot of other people to look at what is the change we can do it. We always say like we are going to change the world. Then we said, okay, why not to change our lane first, and first to going forward and telling to the rest of the world what can be done. Let's start with our own. And it started with one small hobby where we were started little more inclination towards the nature, towards the eco-friendly thing, towards a couple of products which we would like to take it up. So we came up as a hobby, not as a as a proper business plan altogether. But we started with this one small community within a Bangalore, and we took up a space of 10,000 square feet. And the whole idea of making that space where we will not buy anything new, and we will take it everything surrounding from our waste, and we'll try to build it out. And because we work on a lot of fancy and bigger brief, and we make a lot of jazzy interiors and buildings and things and all. So this was a need of our, where we were thinking like, okay, what is there within us to put it across to the world? And but before doing that, then what we decided, let's start from within our team and within our office what we believe on. And that's how the 10 by 10 came into a picture. And after working almost like 3 years, the place which the 10,000 which was looking like a junkyard, I mean, that has converted to one of the India's top 5 small office, which has been awarded. That was a trigger point which we thought, okay, so that means every waste, every thing has a potential, and going forward, then we started working on it. And then we named it this particular upcycling any plastic or any kind of waste as Fact Box. So I'll take you through a small couple of work. So we believe on 3 principles, that is redefine, recreate, and reimagine. This is what we set it to build any kind of product. The picture, whatever you're seeing now, is also coming out of from the lot of waste which we have, and try to build a product out of it. We'll go back to the next slide. Yeah, so this, we know everyone know about the problem, so I will not get into the problem so much because everyone is aware of how big the plastic is as a problem as such, because we in fact produce every day 25,000 tons of plastic every day, and it comes from multiple products. But looking at the plastic as such, what we as a team has did a research that we were able to understand the types of plastic, all the 7 types of plastic. And going forward, we try to understand what could be done on which other thing. So looking at from, let's say, waste bag, which comes from the home, or that is from the plastic, which is like it is a hard plastic, which is a SDPE plastic, or it is a PVC based plastic. So we try to understand that, and we come forward like, okay, there are 2 approaches which as a company we can give it. One is a commercial approach, which we can do and recycle and upcycle in a commercial way. And second is within our community, within our source of people, if a design can be integrated to a waste, and if that particular thing can come out as a product, and how beautiful that could be. And why not to start looking at every waste as a piece of art which can be built up. So this is how we went forward. And this is our office picture, where you can see a small broken cycle, and we try to pick up every waste. And the whole idea was like, yeah, we just don't create design, we just create lifestyle. So it's just a statement which was early forward. But if you look at the broken cycle to everything, where just picked up from the junk. So we'll go to next. So what is 10 by 10 solution is, this is one of the campaign which we run in Bangalore Metro station in MG Road, which is a very crowded place. And so the whole idea was to give a message to the Bangalore that it's not any individual or any company or any NGO's responsibility to take care of this whole plastic waste. Or so what we have did it over here is basically, if you can see in the picture what I have tried presenting in the screen. So the I is filled up with a lot of paper waste, and the love is a green, which is like Bangalore is known as a Bangalore city, and every B and L and Uru. So Uru is basically we call it in Kannada for a village, and so Bangalore it was a one campaign which was been run by government of Karnataka. And the beauty of this thing is, whenever you pass through this whole installation, so the one by one light gets on. But when you come together, the heart of the whole installation start blinking. So message to the public is, it takes everyone. So we are talking about the inclusivity of everyone to come together, to collaborate, to take care of this whole waste, and to convert the whole waste to a art, or to form into a product going forward. So this was one of the beautiful installation which we have built it out in metro station of Bangalore. And going forward, next could be so ITPL is one of our very old client. So the whole idea was like, because they were producing a good amount of plastic waste and thing. So we as a designer, we took up this whole plastic bottles, we cut it into pieces, stitch it to everyone, and color it out to a complete multicolor thing, and we just hang it out into a concept where you can see the final impact, what has been come down. So this was working on the reinventing ITPL. So they came as a client to give us some ideas. So basically what we here is to give an idea to convert any waste to a product, or to a art, or something which is meaningful or useful in life. We'll go to the next slide. So this was one of the, what you can see is a real picture. In the below you can see the n number of, and these all are completely HDB, high density polyurethane plastic on the below chest. And we were looking it out, what is the most beautiful way to create that. Now, we gave speak to it, like, imagine the people, maybe these are the broken chairs, but every chair has his own story, whoever has sit on it. And why not to take the base of the chair and just color it out and put it into a building medium facade, which will be resemble as the whole this particular installation was being proposed for them to give an abstract memory wall of the people who were a part of the whole show in the past. So this is basically like to just give an idea like how a small and a waste plastic base can be converted to a art. So we'll go to next, Nitya. This is another one more waste which comes because every time any office installation or innovation happens, there's quite a lot of waste comes from it. So these are the aluminum grade waste, a lot of channels, a lot of waste, and which is basically more of like a metal, and a lot of plastic things were there. So what we have built it out, we have taken everything together and to create a beautiful installation, keeping the IT park into a mind, and through that, and we made this installation tributing the Bangalore as an IT hub. And the whole installation, what you can see, it is in a 2D as well as in a 3D model, which works in the daytime as well as in the evening time. We'll go the next. This is the current product. As background from designers, and we, as I said, like we always see design as a solution for any problem. And this has COVID lockdown and first lockdown and the second lockdown. I don't know how many lockdown has made it us to think to work on something which can be, really make a change in this current pandemic, which is like, so we are trying to solve a problem like how could we restrict this transmission of this whole virus. So keeping that into thing, I was and my team were involving in a lot of quarantine center to set up, because we are a space designers and we do all kind of work. So it was based on a responsibility. This particular product, if you can see, the fabric has comes from the plastic bottle waste. So we have a collaborator and a partner who works to convert this plastic bottle to turn out to be a fabric. And these are such a beautiful fabric that, in fact, my team, the office and a couple of t-shirts are made out of this, and we have tested it out. Now going forward, we were trying to build a product which is made out of PET bottles and which has an entirely antibacterial properties where we can stitch it out. So this particular, what we have built is called Isopod, and Isopod is built keeping the privacy and exclusivity, as well as the privacy and keeping that restricting the transmission of the virus into a mind. So we have tried making this isolation room, which on this current pandemic and this current COVID-19, this is going to lot of larger scale quarantine center to give a privacy, or to give a partition between all the patients and all the people who will be coming up. So this was a great collaboration when we just went with the material which is a product of a plastic, which brings a lot of plastic footprint down going forward. And we'll go to the next slide. This was one of the projects which we have collaborated with a company called Deshpande Foundation. And so you can see the waste which is coming out from Tetra Pak and a lot of waste. So the company here is convert this entire waste of plastic and Tetra Pak to a sheets. And what we have we have taken and we understood the property of this particular material, and after doing a lot of trial and error, so we build a house which is a cost of hardly 50,000 rupees, which is a size of 8 by 10, which is inside, and nothing a great any design. This is a basic which we used to draw it in a 4th and 5th standard to build any homes. And the idea is how you use this whole thing to build a home. And conventional homes are pretty expensive. They are in lakhs together. And this particular model has been given for a lot of CSR people and a lot of companies to adapt this particular kind of homes to give it for the needy ones. And yes, what you see right now is one of the installation which we have given to the slum as a 10 by 10 initiative. And one of the most durable material in terms of water, in terms of sun, heat. In fact, Tetra Pak and all this plastic, because of that, the heat is also comes quite a less when it comes to the inside temperature, if you look at. We'll go next. A couple of commercial projects which we do it, and we make sure that what is that our art within it, that we can convert the waste into art. So what you see is a couple of signages, couple of installation which has been done from plastic straws and a lot of cupboard waste. And these are the installation which is like huge massive scale installation of 20 by 15 kind of walls which has been taken, and the team 10 by 10 and everyone has worked together to bring a very different impact to showcase the use of plastic and the use of this particular waste in a multiple way. Let's go next. These are the couple of our past projects which we have taken a couple of plastic waste. We collaborate with a lot of companies, because what we believe, it is not we as a company can take this whole mission to accomplishment. So we have a great team. Not only we have a lot of collaboration with a lot of companies. So among this, one of the office which we have built up here is Niche Mind, a very dear friend and close friend of mine, where he gave us a complete open opportunity for us to explore and to do, so taking all kind of waste which can come around, whether it's a plastic and it is a metal, the mannequins, what you can see it out, and we try to convert this whole simple looking office as a one of the very creative and a very vibrant office. So the upcycle, when you look at it, is pretty easy because it can be done on everybody's front. I do understand when we're talking about recycle. So a couple of collaborative and couple of events when we do it. So this is from a stepping stone. So basically it's a Center for Autism Kid, and we took the entire team with the University of Buffalo, and the similarly here we took out all the plastic bottles and we tried to make out some product which is like can be planted and the facade will look really beautiful rather than just giving a dry and a metal cage look. So this is one of the collaboration which we have recently got it done with the stepping stone. So
Oh, I think there was some technical error. So I'm sure it was a very
hi,
yeah. Welcome back, Mr. Rajesh. So hello.
hi. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Am I audible? Yeah. So and I think it's time to switch. Yeah. So these are the couple of products again made out of tire waste and wood waste, and we have tried to give it a complete beautiful look to a lot of garden and open terraces. So the idea is empowering the people to upcycle the waste and upcycle any kind of thing which is coming from what we see is it's all about the mindset change which need to give it out. And going forward, it's the people who has to solve the problem. And collaboratively, if you have to look at our background, we were as into a commercial design, and we come forward to take up this whole initiative because we saw like we can't just depend on the government organization, or we can't just depend on the other NGOs and other policy makers to bring this problem. We have to look at the current problem. What we are having is a huge, and to I will not say back, because plastic is not something which is bad. It's a very good material, and it takes like some millions and millions of years to get converted to. And it's just that we are not being taught in a way that we have to see that what is the another next use of the plastic, whether the single use plastic which is coming in front of us. What we need to keep in mind is any plastic can be used 6 to 7 types of types. I mean, times of you can 7 to 9 times you can use that plastic back again. Basically, any product.
Yeah, I think he is having some signal and technical errors from his end. I'm sure he'll be joining soon. So I hope everybody is having a
Yeah,
good time until now.
there's little yeah. Yes, I think there was little. So yeah, so this is another one more. Vacuum cleaner got into a problem, so we converted into a planter. So I'll find maybe network is not good. Next. So we can go. keep going, Nitya. So these are the couple of glimpse of our studio, which we do, and we recycle every kind of plastic which comes to us, and we start relooking something, try to make any art out of it. So these are the couple of products which is made out of, let's say, junk, and we have tried making it with gems. So I think on that note, thank you so much, guys, for listening to me. And but at the last, what I'll pinpoint is we need to look at this particular problem as an opportunity. If you ask me, we have a 99.9% opportunity for anyone who would like to come down to this particular industry, where he can think not only recycling of the plastic, or every individual person can look at as upcycling the plastic based on his own creative way. There are some various options are there in online, which I think to start with, to inspire with. I know if you're going to start with, there is nothing will become so easily to your mind, but remember that we are in a tip of some problem, which I think Rita ma'am was telling me, like, the earlier we were thrown plastic to the ocean, and now in this coronavirus, like, everyone is, keeping a plastic shield on their face and roaming. So it's a slap of the mother nature back to the people to understand, hey, this is a high time, and things need to be taken care seriously when it forward as plastic or any kind of things. We as a responsible citizen, we call ourselves as an educated crowd. So it's very important not to get into a crowd to be a crowd follower. I think seeing the problem from our every individual capability and capacity to bring a change to this world, because it required everybody's support. It required everyone to come together in this smallest way to do that. Because remember one, that it takes maybe millions of years to build that product, even from the packaging to coming to the house. But we just a second to, then it goes to the whole world, and then it's lies in this planet Earth. So with that note, thank you so much. I think I will conclude here, Nitya, and or anything you can bring forward. Thank you so much, guys. Nitya,
Yes.
you're not
Yeah, I'm
audible.
sorry. So I hope, I'm so sorry. Yeah, so I hope it was a very informative discussion on, because we got to know how plastic as a raw material is really very useful in ways that we have never thought of. It can actually be used for some really good social development, which people are not really using it. They're just going for more harmful materials to get the same things possible. So yeah, thank you, sir. It was a really good presentation. Now, one
Thank you.
thing that I would really like to put forth to all the three of you people are, nowadays this upcycling word is not in the buzz right now. There's suddenly everybody is using upcycling. So what exactly, as per you,
Yeah.
is the difference between recycling and upcycling? Because at the end, both of them says, make use of the waste. So what exactly do you three think is the exact difference between an upcycle and recycle? So yeah, that's...
Okay,
Can-
can I say?
Yeah, sure, man. Please.
See, upcycling and recycling. Now, in upcycling has an advantage over recycling, because you can upcycle any material whatsoever. Okay, you don't have, like, and now when we come to recycling, it's very easy. Recycling is a very complex process. It's very easy to say, okay, everything can be recycled, let's discard it. No, when you go study recycling in detail, it's too complex, and there are many products that cannot be recycled. Especially, I read somewhere metallized plastic cannot be recycled, and we say and everything cannot be recycled at the same time. And also, for recycling you need a whole lot of industry, in which again You are consuming power, you are going back to, you are taking from nature, and recycling holds good. Or you can say, I'm going to be a bit negative, unless we stop manufacturing, recycling or upcycling, they lose their value. Because even now, 220, it is, sorry, 2020, only 9% of the plastic has been recycled, of all the plastic in the world. And we hear of those companies, Adidas, making lakhs of shoes, etc., chappal shoes. So much is being recycled, that amounts to only 9%. So somewhere, yes, upcycling has an advantage. You can start anywhere. You don't need an industry. You don't need finances. Like in my case, I could do it from home also. And there are many ladies like me. If we control plastic outflow from our homes, a lot of problem of pollution can be solved. We can do, it may sound, at the micro level, it may sound, no, it's not going to make any difference, but it's going to make a lot of difference if we start upcycling from home. We have to control everything at home. Everything begins at home. That's what I feel.
Yeah. Thank you. I would say that, I mean, the fundamental difference between the two processes as such is like, in the recycling, you again completely break down the entire material to the base materials, like, and then you start producing any new product out of the base material. Like, for example, you take a reusable plastic, you break down into its smaller pieces or micro beads or something, and again you produce any material or any product that you would like to produce. Whereas upcycling, the product is generally not altered at all. Like, you can make something new, but without breaking down into its base materials. Like, you may cut down a bottle and remake it into a planter or something else, but you are not breaking down into its like beads or with which the plastic is produced. So in that sense, upcycling is sort of more energy efficient, I would say. And every problem need not have the same one fit solution. Like, it depends on definitely multiple solutions that has to be thought through. So in that sense, I would say, I mean, we cannot standardize anything as a solution or the only solution as such. So that's how I would look at it as.
Nice. I think in a simple way, looking at the presentation, if I'll say, Nikhil, what you do is more of a recycle of the plastic, and what exactly I have shown it to the people over here, it was more of an upcycle. As it's a simple difference, as everyone said, like, recycle is a little longer process, which required a little commercial aspects, but when it comes to upcycle, you just need to put your little creative and art to it to make a upcycled material, which is, I feel, one of the from everybody's end, and from every single small, you may not have to require organization support here. Okay, there was a nice background from somewhere, so I was just thinking.
Also, just adding to
I
another
hope he's
dimension
not selling plastic.
The another dimension of it is like
Okay.
upcycling. So I mean, what Rita ma'am has put, you need not have a lot of investment or anything as such. Whereas recycling has some sort of investment and other things that one has to do. It also, the entire problem boils down to something like, in India, if you see, apart from few housing complexes, no one does segregation at source. Like, literally zero, I would say. I had been working with almost about so many cities and so many governments. I didn't come across any single standard solution or as such. So the entire business model boils down to segregation at source and collection of the material. Like it is valid for upcycling, it is valid for recycling, it is valid for every aspect of anything that we do with waste. That is one more sort of challenge or the difference between how you can do upcycling and recycling. Upcycling can be done at house also, basically. That is another dimension to look through, the difference between both of them.
Yeah, very, very insightful actually, whatever you told. And I'm pretty sure even our audience are a little bit clear on, what exactly is the difference between recycling and upcycling and how it actually works. So, Rita ma'am, there is one question for you from the audience. So this is by Ms. Kanupriya Tiwari. So she asks that what is the mechanism that you employ to collect all the plastic that you do? Is it just your home's plastic waste, or is it crowdsourced, or how does it work?
Okay. See, I started, when I saw the video, I started with the shopping bags. Now, how many shopping bags I could have? So they finished, I think within a couple of days, I had finished all the shopping bags. So I went to my friends. Okay, now I finished, even friends, they like how many shopping bags they could give me. And they also would like to keep for their shopping good ones. Then, idea struck me, why only shopping bags? Why not all the grocery bags that come into the kitchen? Okay, so I started with that. And then I sent a message in the complex on my WhatsApp group. Okay, so you're building a WhatsApp group that I'm making this, I want the plastic. People were so enthused, so I am collecting from the people. My source is just the people in the complex. They are ready to give. In fact, I have to control them now. I tell them, I want this type of plastic, I want this type of plastic, I want this type of plastic. Because if I don't control them, my house is going to be full of plastic. In fact, that is one problem I faced earlier. The people were more enthused. My friends and all, they were more enthused. I was doing something. So they were ready to supply. They're still doing. Even till today, they are supplying. How do I think? I don't use so much plastic. It's been almost now 2016 January on. I've made big mats. If you see my Facebook page and all, huge full mats I have made. So many. So all the plastic is not from my home, from the people in the complex. They supply.
Nice.
Great. One more question is actually for Nikhil sir. This is by Nikita Rakala. So she asks, how safe are these biodegradable plastics? So because there's certain biodegradable plastics that don't degrade very fast, or it produces a lot of methane. So she's asking us, like, how do we, differentiate the biodegradable plastics that have come from a commercial aspect to the ones that are actually safe for the environment? So how does that work?
So, in Indian context, if you see, so the system or ecosystem is still evolving. There are certain organizations of CSIR labs like CPET and other organizations like IIT Guwahati and other research centers which are certifying or going to give some certification to the products and mentioning with details of how long it would take to degrade and are there any special moderated environment that is required for degradation, or it's just you can throw off into the soil, or such kind of system is still evolving. I mean, it's taking time. All the research which is happening is still under the process. With the same context, I would say also it depends on the kind of substrate that one person is using. If certain inorganic material is used or versus an agriculture waste or cellulose or lactose containing waste is used, that sort of using as that as a substrate to build up a product. So that is, not harmful as such. Whereas there are certain chemicals which you use to make a biodegradable plastic. Again, that requires a moderated climate for the biodegradation. That's how, if you leave it certain harmful gases like methane or other things will be generated. So it depends on substrate one thing and how to differentiate it. There are certain organizations which certify the product. The companies has to take a certification from these organizations before launching any product. But this entire system is still evolving, and most of the organizations in India as of now which are producing are using some foreign accreditations or foreign certifications as such, like norms, following norms of US EPA or some other aspects. So I would say it requires some more time to understand all these aspects to keep it in a simpler version for everyone to understand. And that's how government is also trying to come up with various amendments and the laws of on plastic, single-use plastic, multi-use plastic, or multi-layered plastics. These all with an aspect of ERP like producer responsibility and other aspects. So
Interesting.
some more time it would take in the sense to make it simpler to understand.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nice. I think it just answered the question. Correct. It's really good. One more question for Rajesh sir. This is from Asudha Call. So she is asking us, what are all the organizations and companies that you have collaborated with? And how did you manage to convince them with your style of working? Also, are all these projects cost effective?
Okay. I think collaboration wise, we have a lot of government institute to a lot of MNC companies keeping, as I just give a glimpse of ITBL, which is one of the biggest IT park in Bangalore. So we similarly, when we do another retail project, we'll be surprising all the Bangalore. We have a client called Gillies, and the owner, Mr. Gurpreet, and the 10 by 10 team, which has been headed by Rohana. They are very passionate in creating some upcycle products and all, because they want something which will be like a state of the art, and their art should not be repeat. So I think on that contest, people have accepted in a very wide open, and the opportunity lies over here is like very few people are putting their brain to taking this upcycling part and trying to make a product out of it. Going forward, I would not say it is so easy, because definitely in your first or second or the third try of practice, product will completely immature. But once you have a hands on it, and once you get it, believe on any, then you start looking every product as something, a art which you can form it out by integrating a lot of things. So at present, yes, we are working with a lot of CSR groups and companies, keeping government institutions, also government of Karnataka. Let's say we are working a huge massive project for Basava International Museum. So every project going forward, we are trying to see it out, like how will we take care tomorrow's this whole plastic segregations and other things into our mind, because the biggest problem with plastic is the segregation, because people don't know how to segregate. If you segregate that, the problem will solve as paper. Like, you will not see that, paper is going to the, or it get decomposed also easier. But here, as I said, like we have an open complete ground, and clients love us for all the ideas and all the crazy ideas we bring it on the table. And with that, I think we are giving a completely a new, beautiful new dimension to the art. But yeah, there is a lot of acceptance out there. So need not have to be worried about the client and on the acceptance part.
Great. I think that was something that many of them maybe had that in mind, because these are not very conventional ideas. They're very unconventional ideas, and people will hesitate, to take that step forward. So
anything
Yeah.
which is new and for the first time will be will take a time people to adapt. But now the time is not that you have any choice. It is more of, it's a responsibility which you need to see it out. And the way I think Geeta ma'am is making the bags, and Nikhil is, taking the product into a completely recyclable and another one more, dimension to the product. Going forward, these are the, changes which we need to adapt it out and accept it out, heartfully, that these are not something new, but it's a need of an hour, if you ask me.
Yeah. So one more question that has come from the audience for all the three of you all actually. It's by Deepak Ji. So he asks us, does upcycling really need a business model? So in the sense,
Repeat.
do upcycling have a business model? Does it need a business model? And how do we, inspire everybody from taking up this work? Like in the sense, Nikhil sir's case of, incense sticks, that's a clear revenue model. But Rita ma'am, yours is more out of a passion that you have. So how do you, differentiate between these two? How do we, congregate these two? So I think that's what he's trying to ask us, that, how do we inspire many from taking up this work by adding an economic value to the creative or artwork? Or how do you add, or is it necessary to have, economic value? I think, our self-satisfaction is also a very good thing, and the knowledge of, we are doing something for the planet. That's, I think, a very good thing to take up. So what are your views on this?
Okay. I'll say one thing, especially what I am doing. Okay. I did not go in for business. I never made it a business module for the simple reason, because it's a lot of, to be very honest, it is hard work. Because I am doing because I want to do something for environment, and it's my passion and I like doing it. So I'm doing it. And moreover, this is something actually, to be very honest, to be done by ladies of my age who are sitting at home. I'm being very honest, this is the youth can do it, you can do it, but then you have to have market for it. Okay, a product could be very small, but the labor, the effort that goes into making it, people have not really appreciated the effort. Even handicrafts and all, you see, that is why handicrafts are dying mostly, because it requires a lot of effort and people are not ready to appreciate that. That's a whole concept. See, nobody is going to buy this bag. How much bag? What they ask me really value for this bag? How much? How do I value this bag? It's a big question before me, and I'm facing this question. So I never went in for business.
Okay.
Because a lot of hard work. How do I put a price to that? I know that.
So I
And
mean,
so even if I ask, many times in fact today I'm going to train. Somebody has asked me to train. I am ready to. My videos are there on the YouTube. Anyone can see. Anyone can learn. Anyone can do anything. But when you go in for marketing, if I go in for marketing, I will have to put a lot of hard work, more number of hours. Let me tell you, when you cut, even if you sit and do some cutting only in one place, you cannot sit for more than 5 minutes. You have to get up. You have to, crocheting is a strain on your shoulders, it's a strain on your arm, it's a strain. And so if you do it, you've seen videos of how the people, how the fingers become bad, nails, etc. of the people who are working in the diamond industry and all. So same can happen to people working in this industry if it becomes a business. So only when you make, only when you do, then you realize the problems. It's very easy to get the work done by somebody and then you put a price. It's not easy. Yes, it should be done. Ladies sitting at home, they can do it at their own pace. I am doing it at my own pace. Whatever I'm doing. In fact, I'm able to take a plastic from other homes also. So if ladies sitting at home, they take it up, that would be a good idea. Or you find a lucrative market for these products. That I would go in for. People who are ready to pay care about what it's all about, environment, etc. If they're able to think in terms of, they will really value it. I am giving my products as gifts. I simply give them away. I give the mats will be given to the house keeping staff, etc. in my complex. Bags are given. Posters, my friends are using them. They're all, I have never marketed my products. I'm giving them as gifts. Because it takes time. It's a handicraft. it takes time.
True.
Sure.
Collection only takes time, cutting takes time, joining the 4 processes, and it's all handwork. There's no machine involved in it.
True.
It takes time.
Completely.
That's my view.
I feel, I mean, business model per se, definitely there are multiple ways of looking at the same thing. I mean, one can go only going on training to everyone and take some like training charges out of it. That is one sort of business model. Then if you are selling a product and making money or putting the cash flow so that you employ more and more women or any other employees, so that is a different way of doing the business model. There are a lot of even big companies who are coming into upcycling. I mean, like many scientific organizations, you take ISRO or some other things, or putting down the aircrafts or other things. I mean, you are reusing, you are upcycling the same thing, adding more features to it and launching the product as such. So that is again depending upon what you want to do and how you want to do. That defines a basic business model as such, and it is different from different products or different collection methods and other aspects of what you are handling or what you are going to handle. And coming to bringing a big change or anything, I would say, I mean, I come from an engineering background, so I always say this to my team or whoever I encounter with. Every large integration always starts with a small differential or dx. So without that small dx change that you are going to do, you can't really integrate a bigger change, or the worldview of looking at that big change, driving that big change is something that is going to miss. So that is another way of like bringing all the small changes together, putting in everyone, as many people as possible into the value chain and creating some change out of this is something that you have to do as any person. And another small, I mean, it's not a story as such, but like we started as a students with only premise saying that, okay, well, let's start as a student. If we success, it becomes something that we can run across again and again or continue. If it's a failure, I will become 100 times more efficient employee for any company that actually employ me or employs me. So that's how I think the students can also start looking at the things. I know in and out of any business, I would do the same work what the other people does in 1/10 of the time and 100 times more efficient than the other people. So that is another thing I would say all the students who are listening or whoever wants to do or try anything, this is a time you can try when you are young, when you are old, or any point of time in your life. That's a simple thing that I would say.
Nice, nice. I think looking at the business model, how I am looking it out being a designer, like uh, the last 2018, we almost there was a business of in plastic $8 billion US. There was the businesses, and it is going to be some $16 billion US. It is going to be. So for any business model to understand, like you require raw material, then you take that raw material to process it to a product, and then you sell the product. But here, looking at this upcycling and recycling, and especially into plastic, you have the raw material which is a waste and which is lying everywhere. And anybody who has to think and looking at a business model when it comes to upcycling, there is a very different way to look at, and when it is recycling, there is a very different way to look at the business model. But I'll just to give a little bit on my experience so far with because this was never been in my mind that I have to work it out a business model, but it came as you went forward and as you work and people appreciated, and going forward, then it became a couple of products, and then Now there is a couple of transactions are happening with regard to this upcycling and recycling underwritten by TIN, where we charge, let's say, to our time and effort, which we give it to do any source of transformation to that whole waste for any of our corporate client or any of our thing. But more important to start with from somewhere, and that is where at least we will be having a hands on it, and going forward, at least you are the person who will decide going forward that okay, is that I am able to build any product out of it or not. Apart from that, which is required is little more research on this plastic. It's a very easy, everything is online, everything is down over the platform and online. So what is more important is, as Rita ma'am also said, like it required a complete 100% hard work, because this is not something which has been done by somebody. You'll go and replicate the thing. But one advantage is here that you have a 99.9% business opportunity, because hardly anybody is here in this space. And second thing is, you will get a raw material abundance, like how much ever you want to do it. And it just, third is how you segregate and how you bring it out a plan. But for the audience, yes, it is doable if you take it in a very serious note and put your heart and soul to bring it out. There are a lot of buyers, there are a lot of platforms. In fact, people have, like for example, we work with a lot of platform like Qthrob or Better India's Carnival, and who has an online platform who give these kind of exposure to all the people who want to come to this kind of cause and this kind of product making things. So yeah, so for me, yes, there are multiple way. In fact, we are working on a couple of business model for Deshpande Foundation, and a couple of our associate, which they also ask us the same thing, that yeah, we have a people, we have a place, we have the money, we have everything. Now tell us, what is the product, what we can build it out. So we are doing, helping it out in that, and which again now it has forced us to think what could be the next business plan going forward. When somebody has to give his 100% to this work, then what is the outcome and what is the takeaway for him within a year, or within a 2 year, or within a 5 years. So yeah, we are working on it, and going forward, it's a working model. You don't have to worry on that. At least you will enjoy the journey, if you not the commercial aspect. That will be more beautiful, and looking back, it will
One
be, I promise you that.
one more thing which I came across rural India, like the tires which are discarded in the urban India. So using these tires, a check dam was constructed. And again, like had it been using cement, concrete, or some other thing, it would have costed some crores, might be. Using this dam made out of tires as a check dam, it has costed them not even like 1/10 or 1/100th of what the planning or the planners used to plan for. So, I mean, you can
Wow.
come out with alternate low cost products as well if you make it more efficient in terms of your operations chain, or anything that you would like to put down as your product. And you can make it marketable very easy, saying it's lower emissions, lower energy, or more friendlier to the environment. I mean, again, it comes with its own way of looking at the things, of how you put it as your own marketing approach. So that's how you can make a strong business model out of it, uh, and be and give it to the people who can't afford at a cheaper price. That is one sort of business model that you can also explore.
That's, yeah, this was actually very, very insightful, because there are a lot of audience here, and most of them are actually laymen. Maybe they are hearing about this entire thing for the first time. So for them, I'm pretty sure it's been a very, very, very informative session, because that's how you get to know what is actually happening in the entire world. Sometimes we are so fixed into our own schedule, our own time, our own life, that you don't really understand what's happening around. So I think that way this has been
Right.
one of a very good things that we've actually come together and done this. Just a last question before concluding that I want to put out for all you guys is, what would be your advice to all the audience here? You know, how do you take that plunge? What made you take that plunge, and what would actually make them take the plunge? If somebody wants to start this right away, start upcycling, how do they do that? It doesn't have to be on a very bigger scale, maybe a smaller scale. And one more question from the audience that I would want to add on to the same thing is from Miss Smita Rani. She asks if we are all the three of y'all are offering any training to the beginners. So if they want to actually, help learn from you guys, is there any offerings for that?
Okay. Okay. Go ahead,
Yeah, madam,
Rajesh.
please go ahead.
Can I? Or
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Please go ahead.
See, in my case, what I am doing actually is nothing new. Okay. In fact, this was done by the ladies. You can say, if I'm in my 60s, my grandmother's times, ladies were doing all this. It is basically revival of an old art. So, and my videos are there. My videos are there on the YouTube. They're on my site. And anytime I can be contacted, I'll be able to help via Skype or something. That's it. We can train. I'm ready for it.
So I would say, yeah, I mean, this is not an entirely new concept as such. This has been there generations throughout. The only small advice that, I mean, I wouldn't say it as an advice, but more like a practice which you can do is like think big and start small. However small it is, you can do it even at your house. It starts from reusing or upcycling the daily polythene bags that you buy, or go out with carrying your own bag, such kind of small activities. And I always, use this quote, which is actually given by Gandhiji: be the change you wish to see in the world. That's the only advice that a lot of social entrepreneurs or any entrepreneurs use this as their mode of communication, or how it all begins. And yeah, thinking big, starting very small is also very good achievement. And it's like huge population starting very small things at a time, one step at a time, drives the entire big change altogether. And training as such, as of now, I don't think we are well equipped to give such kind of things. Maybe we would like to explore in the coming future some sort of training or reskilling or any sort of things. And definitely we would look into that aspect as well.
Great. See, basically for us, upcycling is really fun, and our space at 10 by 10 is been built with a lot of waste and a lot of things. So we built that whole place as a community center. So yeah, everyone is welcome. That's being located in Bangalore. So every time you go, some other things is happening there in that whole space. That we call it as a designer paradise. It's just because there is no rules. We have tried to form it over there, so anybody can explore anything. And that has resulted to such a beautiful thing that now our surrounding community people knows that what these guys are into. And every time, like every week at least, we found one parcel outside our every time, whatever the people have to give away, and give any discard which you think it is can be made something used and functional. I think the last time I got a gift was a live parrot, so which we made it, little good and make it to fly back. But yeah, going forward, tried helping it out. We in fact learn a lot of things, especially different source of people, from the doctors and from different industry people come, and it becomes a more of like a knowledge sharing. That whole community center has been going forward. Yeah, anybody can write to us and mail us, or call us. We'll be happy to help you out in terms of any kind of upcycling or recycling of product, what you're looking it out. But at the same time, if you guys are anybody who's interested, they can write us and we can keep you in a voluntary program, so that next time whenever we are coming and going for the next installation in Bangalore, you'll be definitely will given a shout to join us for sure.
Yeah, I think, you know, many of the audience would actually like that. Rita ma'am, I'm sure you will have a lot of YouTube followers right now, right after this, because what you showed us, what you said is so exciting, especially for, you know, women who actually are at home and sometimes they, you know, they feel that nahi hai mere paas kuch karne ke liye, and I'm pretty sure they'll take this up as their hobby and really do something about it. So you've been a great inspiration that way. Thank you so much. And
Great.
Nikhil, sir, I think you are the best person any student has to look up to, you know, because you took up this exactly when you were as a student and you had that courage, you know, and that confidence that, yeah, let's try something out and let's see how it's going to work out. And it's actually worked out very good for you. It's really great. That's a very good accomplishment that
Nice.
you and your partners have done. So I'm pretty sure that people will really like it. And Rajesh sir, I think it was a delight listening to you, listening to your products, and seeing from our comments that we've received about everyone. I think it's been a very nice, enlightening discussion as to what all could actually be done, you know, whether it's from a very small scale to a very large industrial scale, for ourselves, for the environment, for people. So yes, it was great having you guys here, having you put out your thoughts, sharing your thoughts with people. So yeah, thank you so much for
Thank you
accepting,
so
for being
much.
here.
Thank you.
Thank
Uh,
you. Thank you,
Thank you so
everyone.
Bhalchandra,
much.
would you
Thank you so
like
much.
Yeah.
to take over?
Yeah. So I think Nitya has summed up your contribution to this panel discussion. And I'm sure that we will all exit this call much more informed and educated about the ins and outs of plastic upcycling. So I would mention one more thing, that tomorrow we have another exciting webinar on how to make eco bricks, and the registration details and everything is available at the Bhumi's Plastic Free July page. And also there are few ongoing contests like Kabar Se Jugaad, sharing your plastic Swiss stories, then meal making competitions whose deadlines are till 31st July. So I urge all the attendees to participate. And lastly, thank you, ma'am, for joining. As organizers, we feel very proud to have hosted this with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for
Very much.
inviting me.
It's a
Thank you
pleasure.
so much. Same here.
I hope you guys
This was
had a lot
great.
of fun too, interacting with people,
Yeah.
interacting with
It
you.
was,
So,
yeah, completely.
thanks a lot, participants. Thanks a lot, attendees.
Thank
Thank
you.
you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you. Thank you
everyone.
so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now you guys can leave the call. Thank you.
Thank you.